Sandy, thank you so much for being on the Talk Freelance to Me show today. You have done so many amazing things, working in public relations, working as a writer, now coaching authors and helping them really market their books. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got to where you are right now with working with authors?
Yeah, it's interesting, Ashley. I'm glad you asked. My degree is in public relations and journalism, and I got it a long time ago. So I've always been doing what I studied in college, and I started out as a publicist, primarily a product publicist. And after a while, I burned out. Like after 20 years, I just burned out on the pitching all the time. That's when I said, okay, I need to make a shift. About the same time I burned out on pitching, I got my first book contract. That's a whole nother interesting story. So I became an author. I have 3 traditionally published books. And along the way, I learned how to get the word out about my books. And all 3 were in an era pre-social media. And my first book sold out its first printing. My second book went through 3 press runs, and my third book sold out its press run. So I decided, as I was burning out on PR, having this experience as a traditionally published author, I thought I need to make a shift. I will leverage what I know about book marketing, but I will also start working as a freelance writer, because the pitching was just really different when you're pitching your ability to write versus some angle on somebody's product or service. So I've always been doing what I wanted to do when I got out of high school, but it's morphed into different forms, but it's all been very organic and very rewarding. I love working with authors. It's just really fun.
That's amazing. And I'm part of your Facebook group. You have a
Which I
fantastic Facebook
love.
group.
Yeah,
It
it's a
makes you
great group,
great.
isn't it? People
It
are
really,
wonderful.
yes, it's been a great space to learn and observe and find out about new projects, new books that folks are working on. You've seen a lot and you've seen the way that we promote ourselves, whether we're promoting an idea or promoting ourselves, change with technology and the internet and different TikTok, just different ways that people are talking about themselves now. What do you think are the biggest myths or maybe fears that writers have when they think about how to promote their baby, their new book?
Yeah, great question. I think the biggest myth, let's go back to my history in traditional publishing. The biggest myth is that you should go for a traditional publishing contract, especially if you don't like marketing, because the publisher will market your book. Huge myth. Publishers, generally speaking, are not going to market your book. What they will do at a minimum, most will write a book announcement press release for you, and they will send that with review copies to the press. That's kind of like the base, and sometimes they don't even do that. That's, for most authors, that's probably the most you're going to get from your publisher. So no matter what publishing model you choose, if you want people to discover, read, love, and recommend your book, you're responsible for the marketing that makes that happen. So that's the biggest myth, is that a traditional publisher will do that for you, because they will all tell you, oh, no, we won't, or they should tell you that. And then the thing that I think the fear they have is it's maybe not so much a fear as a hang up, but what authors tell me repeatedly, Ashley, is I don't like self-promotion. I'm really uncomfortable talking about myself. And what I help them reframe it as, first of all, in spite of what some people will tell you, oh, you're the product, you're the brand. Yes and no. Really, your book is your product, not you, and obviously you're linked to it, but your book is the product. And I try to help them see this as they're doing a public service when they're out there talking about their book, because the people they wrote it for aren't going to know it exists unless they tell them it exists. So they have to be out there sharing information about their book, making sure it gets discovered so that they can educate, entertain, or even inform the people they wrote their book for. So I view it as a public service when you're out there marketing your book. And if you can see it that way, you can see how you're helping people, not talking about yourself, which I think makes most of us uncomfortable.
I love the way that you framed that. I think that's really powerful because, and I don't know if it's a function of art being or our writing being our art and it's vulnerable to put something out there and it's open to critique and maybe we shy away from talking about it, or maybe because of our training, whether you're working in public relations where you're marketing your client and promoting your client, or if you're in journalism where you're not supposed to put yourself in the story and you're supposed to be very objective and independent from it. I feel like that's a very approachable way to think about it. It feels less slimy, maybe. Maybe
Yeah,
that's my own
that
idea.
is no, that is a great word because I think a lot of people do feel slimy. So I think that's the great choice for it. And so if you put the focus on the book, not yourself, you'll be a little more comfortable doing a podcast interview like this, or maybe being a guest blogger, or being part of a group of authors exhibiting at the bookstore, that kind of thing.
That's fantastic. You have such a wealth of knowledge from all of these different ways to communicate, whether you're writing or you're speaking about someone else or the teachings. I know you teach a lot, you speak a lot. And I know you spoke at the ASJA conference in New York City about what you've learned about passive income and taking what your knowledge and thinking about ways to monetize it. That's very fascinating. Can you walk us through some of the most accessible ways that writers listening could get started with making passive income from what they know?
Yes, and I'm glad we're talking about it because one reason I asked ASJA if I could talk about that topic, I submitted a proposal, was because so many writers now are insecure about their clients. They're insecure about their ability to earn a living. And I am at a point where half of my income comes from passive income. And I thought, I've learned some things that I can share, and maybe I can get some writers thinking about how they can take what they know and, as you said, and monetize it, to use a buzzword. So the best way to get started, I think, Ashley, is to first get smart about it. A lot of times, let's go back to books. A lot of times, people who self-publish are not professional freelance writers like you and me. They've never written anything before, and they just sit down in front of a computer and they start typing or writing. And they don't know what they're doing, and they don't know how to approach it. They don't know how to get it published. They don't know how to market it. They don't know anything. And they also don't spend any time learning about how to do all those things. And that's where they go wrong. When it comes to freelance writers and passive income, I really encourage everybody to first learn about it. And one of the best ways to learn about it that I found works for me is I sign up for a lot of email lists for people who are doing what I aspire to do, and I study what they're doing. What seems to be working for them? What approaches are they using? What approaches are they using that resonate with me, and what approaches turn me off? Like yesterday, I got an email from a marketer that had a lot of F-bombs in it. Not my style. And I just think that you can communicate effectively to your audience without using what I grew up to call curse words or whatever. So that's something I won't do. I see other people doing it. I'm like, yeah, okay, I guess it works for you. And maybe this tells me I'm not part of your target audience, because I roll my eyes when I see it, but your target audience wouldn't roll their eyes. So you see what other people are doing and you figure out, I like this about it, I don't like that about it. And then that helps shape your approach. And it's not just limited to email marketing. I sign up for a lot of virtual summits on topics I want to learn more about. And it might be email marketing. I just tuned into one this week about how to use video to sell. And that's an area that I'm weak in. While I eat my lunch on my iPad, I'm watching these 20-minute presentations on topics I need to learn about. So I learn a lot about that way. And I really recommend that people start dabbling in learning before they start taking action to create some kind of product that could create passive income for them.
That's fantastic. I love how you talked about looking at the things that you've invested in or how you like to receive information or what messaging repels you or attracts you, because I think that's really powerful. I remember taking a class, I think it was on offering courses, and the nature of it, of just the presentation itself that this creator made, felt so salesy to me because it was marketed as this presentation was going to be information rich. Obviously, I knew they would
Mhm.
be
Yeah,
promoting
they'd be
something at the
pitching
end.
at the end. Yep.
Yes, but there's a difference between some presentations where it's all total sales pitch and
Yeah.
there's no content, and you're, at least for me, I'm left feeling like I've been duped. Like it just
Hmm.
feels a little disingenuous and it doesn't feel good. And I remember that this creator was teaching that this is the way, this is like an internet marketing framework, that this is the way lots of folks sell their courses on whatever their knowledge base is. And I remember feeling that doesn't feel right to me at all. Like I would never, that's not my personality. Even if that's a best practice, I don't want anything of it. And bless them if they'd made money from that, but I cannot look at myself. I can't take myself seriously using those things. So I love that you talked about looking at what repels you and to
Yeah.
know how you want to communicate.
And I'll add to that, Ashley, just because everybody's doing it doesn't make it right. That's a life lesson for everything, to tell
Yes.
you the truth. But just for example, when I got started with information products, which is what we used to call, say, digital products, there was this whole model of using these webinars to sell. And it was about telling them the what and the why, but not the how.
Yes. That sounds
I
familiar.
I am not wired to do that. I am
Right.
incapable of doing that. That is so foreign to me. I'm just going to tell you what I know. And if you want to know more, then you can buy this product from me, whatever. But I never embraced that model, even though it was the norm and it was recommended, because I didn't like it as a consumer and I didn't like it as a human.
Yeah. Yes,
And
that
that's what that
resonates.
you saw in that webinar. They were telling you
Yes.
the what and the why and not the how. I
Right.
already figured out the what and the why. I'm here to learn
That's
the
why I'm
how.
here.
So give me a piece of the how. Exactly. Don't have to give
Yes.
it all to me, but give
Sure.
me enough so that I know that if I pay for your training, I'll get value out of it, because it's all about providing value. That's really important.
I love that. I love that so much. I think that's a refreshing take on this, on downloads and passive income products that you can sell online. I like that a lot. Now, you mentioned that you've brought in half of your income from some of these passive income streams. Can you talk about maybe what has been the most, is it been like the most profitable offering? Has it been a course or a download or some other type of digital product?
I'll tell you, and this is probably not the answer you want, but what has been most profitable for me is promoting other people's products as an affiliate marketer, because I will talk profitable, not volume, because I just can't bring myself to charge a whole lot for what I create, because about most of my audience on my email list, they are people in the second half of life
Mm,
who are not flush with money.
sure.
So I can't help them if I'm charging maybe based on the value of my product. So I always make things more affordable, and they sell well because of that, but they're not high ticket items. Now, some people I affiliate with are very good at creating and selling high ticket items, or even less high ticket items, but more affordable, but probably more than I charge for my tools. And there is one software developer that I work with as an affiliate who is always creating amazing tools, software tools that authors can use to market their books. They are unbelievable. And I use them. And once I fall in love with them, then I promote them as an affiliate. So I make more selling other people's products than I do selling my own, just because their price points are higher than mine for the most part. And I'll offer a tip about getting started with affiliate marketing, which is one way to generate passive income before you have a product of your own, by the way. I only promote products and people that I use and I like and I trust. If I find a program, like people are always saying to me, "Hey, would you be interested in promoting my training or my whatever as an affiliate?" A lot of
Mm,
times it's their service as an affiliate. And I just say, "I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with you.
sure.
I've never used your product, and it doesn't look like something I need to apply in my business, so it doesn't make sense for me to use your product. So thank you, but I have to pass. So I recommend starting with products that you use, that you love, and looking to see if they have an affiliate program. And then going from there, because it's really fun when you get your first email notification saying that somebody bought something based on your recommendation. It's just really cool.
I think so. And especially because you believe in the product. And so it's like
Exactly.
joy all around, right? A win-win for everyone because you know that your audience or your network or however they're connected to you is going to benefit from this. Your relationship with the person who created the product is strengthened of that connection. And then you have the tangible benefit, like you have some money coming in from something that while you were sleeping. That's the dream.
Exactly. That is exactly it. And if it's a product you're familiar with, you're also in a better position to answer questions about it. Because a lot of times somebody will say, I will market, let's just use a software tool as an example. I will market that to my email list, which, by the way, is much more effective for me than social media. But I market to my email list and somebody will say, hey, I'm really thinking about that tool, but can it do, X, Y, or Z? And I'll say, I haven't tried that. Let me go in and give it a try and I'll get back to you. Sometimes I answer their questions by using the product. Sometimes I know the answer already because I've done it. And sometimes when I've done it, I can give them an example of how I did it. So that's just another reason to be starting with products that you're already familiar with.
That's fantastic. You touched on email lists, and this is something that
Mhm.
I've heard you say, like in the Facebook group that I'm a member of yours, and different things. And it seems like it's been a key. People see all the knowledge that you have and the experience, and they want to learn more from you. So they join your email list. And I feel like I've heard that, right? I've heard don't build your empire on someone else's land. You build
Right.
all
Yep.
of your following on TikTok and everything that we're seeing. TikTok may go away again. We don't know.
Exactly.
But so I feel like writers, we've heard that message that we need to get an email list, that there's value in it. How do you get started if you don't have one and you know you need one, but you're not sure where to begin building one?
How to get started with an email list?
Yes.
Yeah. First, you just get started. The best way, first, you need this kind of vision of what you're going to share in your email. So you need to be really clear on your target audience. You can't be kind of creating a list for everybody. You have to be very focused about excuse me, who you serve and what they're interested in. And once you're clear about your target audience, then you need to do a couple of things. You need to sign on with a email service provider. You and I both use Kit, formerly
Yes.
ConvertKit. That's who we use for this. And as you need to create a lead magnet that is of value to your target audience. And the lead magnet, it's also called a freebie or an ethical bribe. The lead magnet is what entices people to give up their name and their email address for you. And you make all this available on a landing page, which is a web page that has a single purpose. And in this case, the single purpose is to get people to opt in, being voluntary, opt in, add themselves to your email list, usually in exchange for this lead magnet. Your landing page, sometimes people set up just another page on their website and it's got their whole website toolbar and all that. That's not how you do it. You don't want any distractions on that landing page. You don't want them to be say, oh, butterfly, and click over to that butterfly. You want them 100% focused on signing up for your email list. And signing up is key. Don't do what a lot of people do, which is add everybody and their brother to their list.
Mm.
That is against the rules. People can then flag you as spam, and then you get booted off your email service provider site. So it's always opt in, meaning your audience chooses to add themselves to your email list. But be clear on who your audience is. Create a freebie that speaks to them, provides value to them, and gives them a taste of the kind of information they'll get through your regular emails. And then create an email newsletter that provides value to your audience. It's a service. It focuses on them, not you. So many authors in particular will send out an email that's me. And, oh, if I haven't mentioned it yet, here's a little bit more about me.
Right.
You really want to focus on your audience, not yourself.
Such good advice. And I know that you mentioned Kit being one of the tools that you
Yeah.
use. Are there other tools or platforms that are maybe your top favorites? I know you're very knowledgeable about the different tools that you can use to create the infrastructure for this. Are there some that are more useful for people that are not as tech savvy and are maybe intimidated about the tech?
Yeah, and it's really easy. I think we're all intimidated by the tech, to tell you the truth. And I am not what people call a digital native. So there's always a learning curve for me. But Ashley, that's what keeps me in the game, a
Mm,
lifelong learner. So I just love learning how to use new tools.
yeah.
If you are thinking about creating an online course with video, I know a lot of people use Loom, which is free. I started out giving Loom a try, but I really struggled to master the editing with that. So I use Camtasia now for course content videos. Not just the recording is a piece of cake. The editing is still a little more difficult for me. This is how I edit a video in Camtasia. I'm like, okay, here it is, here it is. Oh, ooh, I'm not sure how to do that. And then I hop
Right.
over to my other screen and I Google how to do
Oh,
X or Y in Camtasia. I always get a video that walks me through it, and then I smile and I turn back and I know how to do it. And then I write it down because I'm going to forget the next time I come back to this. So start with Loom because it's free, and some people might find the editing function easier than I did and more powerful than I did. The one, two that I think everybody needs to master, and I know ASJA did a free webinar on this last year, is Canva. Canva is what I use to create all my templates and things like that I sell, my printables. And printables, you'll see a lot if you get into passive income. Printables are products that they're digital and people download them and they print them, and they can take so many different forms. But I use Canva for that. But even if you're not creating printables, if you are creating, say, digital courses that don't require design, you still need to create graphics to go with your course. You might need a logo for it or a product icon or something. So Canva is really useful for that. You can definitely start with the free version, which is what I did. But as I got more and more immersed in this, I upgraded to the pro program that's paid. And I'm glad I did, just because it gives me more resources, more photos I can use, more elements I can use. But you can still use these elements and pay a per usage fee for them, like per photo, per graphic element, whatever. But I just went all in. I pay an annual fee, and I'm getting pretty good at it. I was just doing something. I'm setting up an Etsy shop for my printables, and you need to create graphics, Etsy graphics that kind of give people a sense of what you're offering them on Etsy. I bought a pack of Canva templates designed for Etsy product showcase images. Cost me all of $2. I thought I was going to die, but I bit the bullet and I
wow.
did it. And then I've been figuring out, how do I drop my product images into this? And in any case, I'm learning. But and again, learning is fun for me. But Canva is, I think, an essential design tool for just about everybody.
I agree. I love Canva too. I use it for the podcast and for different things. And yes, you mentioned your stuff looking really good. Your stuff is really good.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, it's
Oh,
beautiful.
that makes my day. Thanks.
Yes, I know that you shared one of your newest products, the Repurpose for Cash
Mhm.
information product that you have available. And I've been looking through it, and I think it's a fantastic resource for writers to really look at their Google Drive, their computer drive of all of their work and knowledge, and thinking, how can I use this in a different way?
How can I repurpose something
Yes,
I've already created to start making money for me? Exactly.
absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit more about that product?
Yeah, and it's designed for content creators like writers.
Sure.
And it's the process I use to take my existing content, which I have a ton of, into products I can sell. Ashley, I've been blogging about book marketing for 20 years,
Wow,
which is
that's
crazy.
amazing.
I know, it's amazing. It amazes me. So I am sitting on a gold mine of information that's available for free on my blog. And please, Go to buildbookbuzz.com/blog. Use the search box to find whatever you might need to know about that topic. But I've got all this content that's honestly not making any money for me. So I have figured out basically how to slice and dice and turn everything I've created. Even I talk a lot at virtual summits. I present a lot at virtual summits. Even how to take those presentations and turn them into products I can sell. And writers, this is what they do for a living.
Yes.
They create content. So it's for like writers, it's for bloggers, it's for authors, it's for people who do video, a lot of YouTube videos. It's for podcasters like you, turning what you share into products that will help people, people will pay money for.
Fantastic.
So it's a step-by-step process. I just walk people through, okay, here, and I'm very process oriented. And I should be your favorite instruction manual creator, because I am very much do this, then do that, and do this. And then when you're doing this, you might wonder about the other thing. Let me tell you about the other thing. And then we go back to the process. So it's very process oriented. It includes activities you need to do, worksheets to complete. And after you go through the process outlined in this PDF that includes lessons and worksheets and all, in the end, okay, this is the product I'm going to create. And I have a sense of what format to create it in and how to move forward. It does not say basically, okay, you're going to create an online course based with video instruction. It does not tell you how to create that online course, but it tells you how to get to the point where you know that an online course is a good fit for you, for your style, for your content, and for what your audience needs. Because, Ashley, one thing I really struggle to get through my head is that it doesn't matter if I think you need this training. If you don't think you need it, I'm not going to sell it to you. Early on, I would create products that I knew authors needed to have. Like one example that sells but not really well is I have a training program that teaches authors how to zero in on their target audience. It's called Who Will Buy Your Book? Something like how to identify and find your book's target audience, whatever. That's the number one thing authors need to know. They don't know they need to know it, no matter how many times I tell them they need to know it. So it doesn't sell as well as it should, because I'm trying to teach them what they need to know. And that's not the same thing as what they want to know. So what you have to do is give them what they want to know and then bring what they need to know in the back door.
So good.
Yeah, it took me a while to figure that one out.
That's a huge business lesson. That is a huge business lesson.
Yeah,
and
you
it's
have
interesting.
you can't sell them what they need to know if they don't think they need to know it. And it is really an uphill battle convincing them that they need to know it. It's frustrating for me.
But how wonderful of you that you know your target audience, which are these authors. You know them so well that
I do. Yeah.
You can anticipate what they're going to be looking for because of what they think that they need first. And you understand how to still get them what they need in this other way. And that's fantastic. Like you're mastering what you're teaching or what they don't even know that they need to master is who is going to be buying your book. And that goes to everything that you've spoken about.
Yeah.
With even the email when you were saying, don't make it all about me. Like everything should be centered on that person that we're serving. So that's a powerful lesson. I think we can all apply.
Yeah. So anybody who wants to think about passive income, and I think writers who are thinking about this, I think they probably know their audiences really well. Yeah. Because I think they've probably been creating content, whether it's client articles, publication articles. They've been writing for this audience already. So I think they probably know their audience pretty well. So now focus on what can you specifically bring to them that will be useful to them and that they will pay for.
That's fantastic. And now I think is a great time because things are quiet.
Yeah, exactly. Because now you've got the time. Yeah. A lot of people are starting to dabble because we're in this kind of funny time with freelance writing. And if you've got a little extra time, yes, use it to market your writing, but also think about learning about passive income as well, because, it's a good time to be learning.
Absolutely. Sandy, this has been fantastic. Repurpose for Cash, I have had early access to it. I love it as a resource. So talk freelance to me, listeners and viewers, if you're watching on YouTube, we will have a special link and promo code where you can have a juicy discount to get a copy of Repurpose for Cash for yourself. So I'm excited about that. I'll share some more information in the show notes. Sandy, this is fantastic. I know there's many things that you do online with your products and the Facebook group and your talks. Where can people find you online and learn more about your offerings?
Best place to go is buildbookbuzz.com. And if you want to get in touch with me, my email address is my initials, sb@buildbookbuzz.com. I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you so much, Sandy. We appreciate
Thank
your
you,
time
Ashley.
today.
I'm so glad we had a chance to talk about this. Obviously, you can see it's a topic I get excited about, and I'd really like to help people. So thank you.
Thank you. A quick note before we close. I hope you found Sandy's insights as inspiring and practical as I did. And as we discussed, if you're ready to really put your existing content to work and create some new income streams, be sure to check out Sandy's amazing new digital product called Repurpose for Cash, how to turn your existing content into new products that sell. It's packed with step-by-step guidance, worksheets, and exercises to help you turn your content goldmine into cash. As a special offer for our listeners, you can get 25% off with the code TFTM at checkout. Again, the code is TFTM. To redeem, just head on over to buildbookbuzz.com/repurpose-for-cash. That's buildbookbuzz.com/repurpose-for-cash. Don't worry, I've got the link and the code in the show notes. Don't miss out on this opportunity to make your content work harder for you.